When it's Friday night, there's nothing to do. Start a new show and you suck like glue. What I binged this weekend.
Because we have a theme song that introduces the show. I never introduced the show.
Never mind.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I watched one movie that I've watched the technical, like, series first in the series. I watched Batman vs. Robin, the animated movie. It follows Batman and Son, which is when you find out that, spoiler alert, Bruce Wayne slept with Talia al Ghul and she had a child.
So Batman has a son.
Yes, so Batman has a son, hence the title Batman and Son. And his name is Damian, and he is a little jerk child that has been trained by Ra's al Ghul, which you can imagine is a really terrible thing to have Ra's al Ghul as your grandfather that's going, here, I'm going to teach you to be a ninja. So at like 7 years old, he's decapitating people going, well, that was easy. So
lighthearted.
I know.
Wait,
it really
that's
is.
not everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone
Well, I don't know. No, I didn't.
I was like 9, so.
I didn't go through that as a kid, but so that's the first one, and I watched that a while ago. But you kind of have to understand that before you get into Batman versus Robin, which is a continuation of obviously the Robin mantle being held by Damian. Because spoiler alert, there are actually like 4 different Robins. Most people don't know. I know.
I thought there was Dick.
Yeah,
It's all just Robin, right?
Yeah,
It's
so
just Robin.
they just get shorter. They Benjamin Button themselves. But anyway, so Batman versus Robin is based off of the New 52 Batman stories. So if you're not familiar with the New 52, it's a reboot that DC did in 2011, I think it was. And they took, I think it follows the events of Flashpoint and Blackest Night, which is when Death basically resurrected a whole bunch of the superheroes that had died and was like, ha, you're evil now. And Green Lantern was like, no, you're not. So following all of that is what kind of rebooted the New 52.
The conversation is so casual.
I know. It was a really short comic. It was literally like 3 panels. So, so Batman versus Robin rolls in Batman as well as Batman and Robin. So Batman, it brings in the Court of Owls, which is something that has not been explored in any manner in the Batman universe so far, and is by far like some of the coolest stuff that I've seen coming out of Batman, and as well as rolling in the story of the clashing of Robin's mentality of, there's this villain here, he has done wrong, as I've been taught by my father, but he's done wrong and he's a villain, so as taught by my grandfather, I need to kill him, which is what Batman is 1,000% against.
Yeah.
So it shows their butting of heads where, Damian's just like, whatever, cut his head off, and Batman's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. So he's trying to humanize this, 7-8-year-old child who has been taught to kill his entire life, who is literally like a little bitty assassin. So that's how you get in close. I know, right? So it's an interesting dynamic, and so that's what's more focused on in the comic. They kind of have a little bit of it within the movie, but since they also bring in the Court of Owls, they kind of had to fit 2 of them together, when in the comics they're completely separate storylines.
Yeah.
But the Court of Owls is this group of elitists, basically, who don owl masks. And there's this old poem that is said to children before they go to bed, saying, be good, or you never know when the Court of Owls is watching, and they'll come and they'll pluck you from your bed if you're bad. And so Batman, being Bruce Wayne, obviously is, he's an elitist, but he's not a member. I know, right? What?
Bruce Wayne?
Spoiler alert, Batman is Bruce Wayne. This is spoiler filled, apparently. But he doesn't want to join the court, even though he gets an invitation, but that's just not what he does. But this group, they take everything to the extreme. So it'd almost be like if Batman was extreme in his crime fighting.
Yeah.
And so instead of, taking his villains down to Arkham, he would keep them and torture them. Because what happens to Batman is he gets caught by the owls, and which they're referred to as talons. And they are like partially undead soldiers that have been trained when they were young to be a talon and work for the court, bringing justice to these certain people. So that's where in the movie, Damian is kind of getting recruited by this talon, going, I see your actual talent as an assassin. You should come and join me because you're not getting to be who you really are with Batman. Of course, at this point, the talon does not know that, it's his son.
Yeah.
It's Batman's son. So it's interesting the differences between the comic and the movie, and there is some fun that's kind of poked in the comic because you find out that the Talons are actually recruited through Haley's Circus, which if you know anything of the Batman lore, that's where Dick Grayson was. And so in the movie, Dick Grayson as Nightwing is fighting one of the Talons, and he's like, you would have made a really good Talon. Which in the comics, there's an entire arc in which, Dick finds out that he actually was supposed to be recruited, but his parents died, and that's when he got taken by Batman. So in actuality, he was supposed to be a Talon, so he kind of wrestles with that. But I mean, the DC animated stuff is all good. They have, those two that are kind of following the New 52, as well as the Justice League War and Throne of Atlantis followed the New 52 origin. And so if you're a fan of like the comic book stuff and all that jazz, and especially Batman, I mean, I think they're worth watching just to kind of get into more of the Batman that you don't really get to see in, the original animated series, because Damian obviously is not a part of it, as well as the movies, because you never really get to see Robin that much either. But they might change that in
Well, let's just be real here.
the upcoming universe.
The Dark Knight Rises was terrible.
Okay. Dark Knight Rises.
He's also been like spouting about Marvel this whole time. So
No.
Like Dark Knight was great.
Yeah, and
Dark Knight
I think the
Rises
issue was
amazing until Bane, I'm a lovesick puppy. Oh.
that's a good impersonation.
You
No,
should've stayed-
and
you
my
should've
thing.
stayed green and like under poison ivy.
No,
No,
but the
God,
thing
no.
is like because the Dark Knight was so good, and it's like the issue is that you have the Joker as your villain.
Yeah.
And because Heath Ledger did such a fantastic job with the Joker, it's hard when you then go, okay, this villain's then going to be Bane. And you're like, well, Bane never really... I mean, he was a villain, but he was never one of the big names.
But like the thing for me was I actually, up until the last 10 minutes, I enjoy The Dark Knight Rises more than The Dark Knight.
Really?
Like,
So
I
you were
actually
just...
really liked it.
Your whole thing is just Bane was in love with Talia.
It was that they didn't. I don't think they gave Bane due
Justice.
credit. Like I don't think so.
Have you seen Tom Hardy's statement that he's interested in bringing Bane into the new
Really?
continuity? That there's talks of, because really you never see a body, and if you learn anything from any sort of superhero show, if you do not see a body,
They did.
or they'll probably
Or
be
even
brought
if
to
they
life
are
anyway.
dead.
Yeah, they'll probably bring them back
Like,
anyway.
for DC, no one ever dies if you give them, to
Because, like I
Lazarus
said, Green Lantern, Death was like, "You're coming back," and Green Lantern was like, "No." But he said no, but turned them from zombies into their human forms again, because they had black rings that turned them into zombies, and it was really
Yeah.
creepy.
That's cool.
It was really creepy. They had like worms and words that I won't say because you don't like those.
Don't talk about them.
But anyway, a lot of people give DC a lot of crap, and I think that it diminishes DC's name when the New 52 continuity, there's a lot of really great storytelling that's going on. So even if you're like, oh, the movies, the animated movies, whatever, some of them are okay, some of them aren't that great, pick up a comic. They're not that expensive. You can buy them.
She's bought all of them. She should
You
know.
can buy
Get
them.
the graphic novels
Yeah.
for cheap, and then you
Yeah.
get like
And I mean-
5.
At your local Black Forest Comics
Yeah.
store.
But really, there's a lot of great storytelling that's happening right now in the DC universe, and is actually pushing Marvel to reboot their entire comic line. So, DC did it first.
Yeah, but DC's doing it again too.
I know, that made me kind of mad.
Because they did the thing that started the New 52, and then they're doing another one.
Yeah, so
And Marvel is
so
doing
it's really
Secret War,
confusing.
right?
Yeah, because DC, so they did Flashpoint, Blackest Night into the New 52, and now they did Convergence and
Yeah.
Earth 2, the ending of Earth 2 and Convergence, and now into what's happening now. And the Convergence thing is really confusing because I read the graphic novels, so I'm like 6 months behind when anything actually comes
Yeah.
out. But that's just kind of my understanding of it. But there's a lot of really great content that's out there that you should
Period.
read
And
if
there's
you're a
stuff even
fan.
not in the New 52. That's
Oh
really good,
yeah,
like,
Kingdom Come, which there's rumors that the DC universe might go that direction, and so Kingdom Come is when like Superman, Batman, all of them are much older. So a new line of superheroes are coming out that are very in the mindset of there's a lot of villains, we should just kill them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, this butting heads of the older mentality of, with their morals and the younger mentality of, well, we just need to get rid of
They're
them.
bad people.
Yeah.
Kill them.
So anyway, that went on a long rant just to
Yeah,
say
it did.
Batman is awesome.
But a good rant.
Yeah.
Hence the bat wall.
I do have a bat wall. You can't see all of it. You might have seen all of it at some point, but...
So how
And
many,
all the comic books are on the other
How
side.
many,
How many
babies?
Damian Waynes?
No, baby
How-
little
no,
assassins.
Damian
How many?
Waynes.
How many
Baby
little
assassins.
assassins
How many
For-
little assassins?
for the movie?
Yeah. The thing that
Look.
you actually binged.
The movie I actually watched, Batman versus Robin. I would give it about 7.
7 what?
Seven killer Damians. Because the animated movies are not the greatest like storytelling,
Yeah.
but they are visually they're nice
Pleasing.
visually, and I know the full story, so I appreciate. Yeah, I think part of the 7 is because I know the comic book story before I watched the movie, and the comic book story is much richer than what they could bring into an hour, and I think it's only like an hour and 20 minutes. It's not even that long.
Probably,
Actually, I don't
yeah.
even think. I think it was an hour and 10. It's not very long at all, and so that's why it's kind of like, well, it could have been better, but for what it is, trying to bring in both the Court of Owls and Damien, I would give it 7 killer assassin children.